Welcome to another episode of Quick and Dirty Marketing. My name is Zach Greenfield, and today we're going to continue our series of videos on website design. And today specifically, we're going to talk about video placement. Now, we've done some videos that we made about making videos, and now that you have them, and hopefully you do, we're going to talk about where to deploy them and how that all works. So stick with us, and we're going to unpack the whole situation. All right, welcome back. So we're going to talk about video placement today. Now, the assumption here is that you've made some videos, or maybe not, and you're just trying to figure out how to put together some pages on your website that are going to help engage your clients and customers that you want to bring into your business. So there's kind of like two broad categories with this in my mind, all right? And the first way to think about it is you sort of have two big buckets of videos, and this is a good way to start to dissect objective and how things are going to work on your pages. So bear with me here. Bucket number one is emotional, and bucket number two is more cognitive, right? Any video that you make for your business, for your clients and customers and potential customers to watch is sort of going to naturally fall in one or another of these, or in some cases might be a hybrid of these two categories. Now, I don't think it's any secret that emotion is a big part of sales and getting people to want to buy your product or service. So if we look at emotional videos, those are the types of videos that are usually the ones that we like to watch, that are on like maybe the homepage of a website, or might take up like the whole top of a page when you come to that site, like what we call a hero shot. Those are typically going to trigger emotion. And the reason that we want to trigger emotion right away there is because that's where we're going to get engagement. Typically, we're going to start an emotional connection with that buyer right away by doing that. And one of the best ways to do that is to show the buyer, show the prospect or the client or customer, whatever the name you want to call them, this visitor, you want to show them that you understand their problem. So sometimes, and the ugly way, in sales to say that would be, reiterate the pain, or restate the pain. I think the better way to express that, though, is to say that you're going to empathize with your client or customer, right? So it doesn't really matter what business you're in, and I've said this many times, you're in business, period, and you do get paid to solve problems. The problems that people have that when they come to you is creating some sort of pain or discomfort in their life. They want, they want to solve it. Okay, whatever it is. So just remember that, and that kind of starts to immediately help you make decisions on where to place your videos. So if you have an emotional, connective type video, like an impact video or brand video that shows your ideal prospect or client solving this problem and experiencing the joy of that and all those emotional feelings that go with that, like they might be disappointed and frustrated, and then they go to get your thing that fixes it, and then like their life is changed. So there's like this transformational arc in that video. Like there's a story arc there. There's discomfort to nirvana, right? That's that emotional type of video. The other bucket is this cognitive type of video, which is equally important and plays a role in your onboarding and your sales cycle. Informational videos are a piece of the puzzle that you're still not going to be able to escape. You can be super emotional, but at some point there's a switch in everybody's brain. They go, yeah, this looks great. But then they start to ask those buyer questions, which is, well, does it have these features? Can it do this? what are the obligations? What are the hooks? What do I have to do? There's, all these questions start to bubble up once the person reins in the emotion that they might have been having initially. And those informational videos are where you're going to attack those objections, and you're going to handhold the person along this new customer journey, if you will, by explaining all these other cognitive things. So if you think about that, that starts to help you organize where these videos need to go. And that's the explanation, the real sort of psychology behind why you see impact and emotional videos that are in the feed on Instagram. They're at the top of the pages on websites. They're going to take up the first half of a page on a mobile landing page or sales page. And usually those videos are going to open up by basically stating the problem, through either a statement or a question. And they're going to open up and say, like, isn't it terrible when your dog's feet get burned on the pavement? And you'll be like, yeah, I mean, if you're a pet owner, that's terrible, right? So that's the problem. And they say, this can lead to blisters and foot damage and all these other things. And then the story goes on, and then there's this arc. But if you buy our dog shoes, then, your dog can be happy even when it's hot outside. So there's that arc, and then the happy dog, right? So it's burned dog to happy dog. And then people start to ask, like, oh, well, how many sizes does it come in? And what's the cost? And then how do I get these things on my dog? And do they stay on? And are they okay to be in the water with them? Or is it that's not going to work? And, so then it gets into this informational cognitive cycle. Okay. So let's just talk about, I have some notes here that relate to all of this, because one of the things that I was writing down is, mobile versus desktop. And that's always tricky. On desktop, you obviously have a lot more room to work with, but today you're also dealing with probably less traffic in the typical case. Most sites we're seeing right now are predominantly mobile traffic. And so you sort of have, and it's trickier to work with video on that. And the other thing that you need to watch out for is, if you try to autoplay a video, then you need to mute it, and there's browser and security, questions with that. So dig into that a little bit. But in general, the rule is if you're going to autoplay a video, you definitely need subtitles, because it's only going to play muted. And you need to set them to mute, or most browsers now will block them from even playing. So just keep those in mind. There's some little technical speed bumps with that. But in general, you want to start with your emotional connection and then follow up with your cognitive and informational type videos. And that will be the journey, okay? And that usually means that your emotional videos and so forth are going to go top of page. Now, the other strategy that you can do if you have design, trickiness there or stuff, is get that video where, on a laptop or whatever device you're checking on is sort of peeking up. And if it's peeking up at what we call above the fold, then buyers usually know to scroll down to, get that video on full screen and watch it. So just keep that in mind, that if you really want to get play out of your video, have it overtly available when somebody lands on the page. Like don't spend the time to make a video and then bury it below the fold and have some other stuff there, and you're not going to get that play value out of that video. So raise it up enough so that people know that it's there. If not, let it take up the head space on your landing and sales page, especially if it's an emotional connected video like that where you're going to empathize with your buyer's pain and start to show them how your product or service is going to be the solution to making the pain go away, right? So those are the real fundamental goals. So write down your page objectives. If it's a sales page, then yeah, you might want to make that emotional connection. If it's an informational page, then you might want to go with more of a cognitive video placement, and you're going to put that where people can see them. But you have a little bit more leeway there, because the person's already coming for details and information. So they're already in a mindset where they're willing to hunt a little bit. when you're in that first chapter of a sales cycle with people, you have like a split second because they're not even sure that you understand them, which is why, again, we're trying to make that fast emotional connection and state their problem, because the minute you state their problem and it is their problem, they stay because they go, oh, this person understands my problem. But when you're in that informational cycle, their mind is already like, I'm in learning mode. I'm already trying to figure out more about this. So they're willing to scroll and hunt and go down a page more cooperatively than they will earlier in the cycle. So just keep that in mind. You got a little bit more leeway on informational pages, and you can move people from page to page. Like, hey, we're going to teach you about this, and then the next thing you need to learn is about this, and they'll happily go to the next thing to learn, so long as they feel like by learning these things, they're getting closer to a solution. Just remember that. They need to always feel like watching your videos is getting them closer to solving one of their problems. So I hope this video helped solve some of your problems about where to put your videos on your website, your pages, your sales and landing, and your customer journey, and emails, and all sorts of other places. So go ahead and like and subscribe if this inspired you at all or helped, de-scramble the situation. Share this for me. We keep coming with more, and we're going to follow up with another one after this. So we'll see you shortly on the next video.